Okay, there's the review for Skydive done. Glad to have that over.
Oh no, you're not finished yet.
What are you talking about?
I'm afraid, my dear friend, there's still much work to be done. You must finish what you have started.
I still don't understand. What have I not finished?
You must gather my fellow aerial bots. You must complete Superion.
No, I don't need to buy the other aerial bots. You're a perfectly fine toy on your own. I mean, I never planned on finishing, Superion. You're right. I don't really want to, but I kind of feel like I need to finish Superion. I feel like I need to go right now. Yeah, I need to go right now. I need to go right now. What have you done? So, due to convincing persuasion, I have another aerial bot from Combiner Wars. This time I picked up Firefly. My decision was between Alpha Bravo and Firefly, and the reason I went with Firefly is because in the long run I think Alpha Bravo will be easier to find because he's the new guy, and a lot of people are buying duplicate Skydive or Fireflies to replace Alpha Bravo. I think a lot of people are going for the G1 look. So for my second aerial bot, I decided to grab another one of the jets. So let's take a look at him and see how he is. So Firefly, or as he's better known in G1, Fireflight, I don't know what happened there. I will prefer to call him by his G1 name, not a bug name. Fireflight here is a very similar version of his brother in arms and legs. Combiner jokes. Skydive. They're very similar engineering-wise, but they're totally different toys, which is really interesting to me how two figures can operate very similarly but come out looking completely different. So that's really cool. I'm not exactly certain what kind of jet he is. He seems like something that goes really, really fast, and I believe in G1, or maybe it was Slingshot in G1 who gloated about being the fastest thing with wings. But he looks like something that's very, very sleek, very, very fast. Kind of like a Harrier, I don't know. I'm not really good with planes. But he does have landing gear, which is more than I can say about Skydive, so that's cool. And I will say, with the exception of this cockpit piece, the whole jet mode tabs together a whole lot better than Skydive does. There's a whole lot of things holding this jet together, and it looks really good. He's a very nice red color with a light blue and gold detailing on him. The wings, I like that they're white, and underside of the jet looks white, so he looks very cartoony, but not, like, bad. He looks like something out of G1, which is really cool. But like I said, everything tabs together really solidly here in jet mode, with the exception of this cockpit piece, which kind of just friction tabs in there. So you can kind of hear it just friction tab in there, and I have to press it pretty hard. But here on Skydive, you can hear where it clicks into place. And so I don't know what is going on, but everything else tabs together pretty solidly. And I had a similar problem with him that I did with Skydive. When I first got him out of the box and started transforming him, his mold, like there were mold flashings that like pieces of plastic, little shavings were falling out of him. So I don't know if there's something going on at the factory. The first time you mess with these guys, it feels weird. I don't know what it is other than when you're playing with them, you know, your hands, something about it feels weird. And it happened with Skydive, and it happened with Firefly. But then after that, they feel okay. So I don't know what it is, if it's just getting them out of the box or something a little bit weird that first time moving them through their transformation. But ever since, he doesn't feel weird anymore. But anyway, like I said, there he is compared to Skydive a little bit better. They're pretty much the same size. So that's cool. He does come with 2 weapons. His hand-foot gun, which has weird tolerances. Like, this is super stiff, but then this is, like, ratcheted, and Skydive's is not. This just kind of moves freely on Skydives, and then this isn't even really stiff. So I don't know what it is. And then also I've noticed this little hinge piece right here is black, but on Fireflights it's gray. So I don't know if that's a big deal or what, but it may be, I don't know. But he does come with this cool looking rifle. And let me move my lighting. I forgot to put it back the way it was. There, that's a little bit better. But he has this rifle, and let's refocus because the lighting has changed. He has this rifle, and it looks really cool. It's got like a scope on the top, and it just looks really neat. Compared to Skydive's double-barreled gun, they look really cool. So I could see building a really neat gun with these. So, alright, let's transform him. So like I said, transformation at its core is very similar to Skydive, but there are a couple minor differences. So you flip up this landing gear here, and then you want to take the cockpit and you want to pull it back, and then it bends and plugs in right there on his backpack. And you can go ahead and twist his head around. His arms untab here, and that's something I didn't mention in jet mode. His arms are pretty well hidden in jet mode, which is cool. So you untab his arms, they kind of go inside his leg here. You bring them up to the side, bring his arms up to the side, and they click in really solidly right there. You want to take these wings, and you want to bend these wings all the way back. Then you take the rear part of the legs, and then this unpegs from the body of the front of the jet. And then this back, you can go ahead and flip these up, and flip this tail fin up. And then this whole back section unhinges and comes back like that. And then the knees are tabbed in like right here. So you untab the knees, and then this whole leg section accordion folds out, a whole lot like Skydive. So you accordion fold those in, and you close this panel back up, and all this tabs together really solidly. If I can get it to go. Do it. Do it. I'm gonna go ahead and split the legs. That may, ooh, that didn't sound good. That may help a little bit. Okay, there we go. So all that tabs together, fold these fins back, stand him up, straighten him out, and there we have Firefly, whoops, in his robot mode. So you can see what I'm talking about with the similarities and transformation to Skydive. However, I do like the change in silhouette. As you can see here, if I bring Skydive in, Skydive's shoulders are a little bit broader. His whole backpack, kind of, because of the way these shoulders transform, his whole backpack, the wings kind of shift up, so it gives it a real G1 look where the wings in the cockpit are really, compressed, and it looks like the G1 backpack. Whereas Firefly, he has the nose cone sticking up, but he has a whole lot more bulk down here towards his, waistline, which honestly really helps to differentiate between the two figures. Like I said, Firefly, his shoulders are a little bit closer together, his chest is not as broad, but he does have, different looking feet. He looks a little bit quicker. Like the jet mode looks like a very fast jet, so in robot mode it definitely carries over to where he looks like he's a little bit more of a nimble fighter, whereas Skydive is more of a heavy hitter. So based on their proportions, you can kind of get a little bit of their personality out of that. So let's go ahead and pull Skydive out of there. We can go ahead and let him use his weapons. The hand-foot gun pegs in here in his hand. And he does have kind of little guns molded in right there, but these things work too, so we can hold both of those, so that's great. Fantastic. So overall posability, very similar to Skydive. He has a ball joint at the neck, ball joint at the shoulders, and this little hinge for transformation, you can move that. He does have a elbow rotation and an elbow bend, which is heavily ratcheted. He does have a waist joint, which clicks into place right there, but then also, you know, you can click it out of place. Full ball jointed hip with a rotation at the thigh and then a 90-degree bend at the knee. So very, very, very similar posing to Skydive. And I know I'm comparing him, but like I said, these guys are pretty similar. So, you know, on the basis of what the aerial bots are doing these days, you know, it's neat to compare the two and see where they end up. So let's go ahead and check out his limb modes. Now, on the back of the box, it describes him as being the left leg. However, in G1, I believe he was the right arm, and with my Superion, I would like to go as G1 as possible. So let's go ahead and go to his arm mode. Also, it's very convenient to go to the arm mode because it's the closest to robot mode. What you want to do is you flip his head around, and you bring this combiner port out to the side like that. You bring his legs together and clip those together. Then you take these fins, oh, you couldn't even see that, and you bring these fins down. And then the box kind of just has you throw his arms back here, and I don't think that looks good. So what I do is I bring these shoulders all the way up, and then I rotate the arm to where it's kind of hidden back here. You see where there's this, I think this is the way it's meant to be actually, because you see this little indentation in the arm, it fits perfectly right there. So if you bring this up, and then you rotate the arm like this and bend it down, it kind of squares off the top and gives him more of a, kind of a broad shoulder. And then also you can stick his hand down in here, and it kind of sits on that peg. Actually, that's probably how it's supposed to go, actually. Those hands peg in right there. And it kind of, see how it fits in right here perfectly? So I think that's how his shoulder is supposed to look. And then you want to, actually no, he's the right arm, so you'll turn it this way. You'll take his hand-foot gun, and you'll bring the fingers out. That's the right arm, so it goes like that. Plug that in right there. Straighten him up, and then there is the arm mode, and I'll go ahead and bend the elbow so you can kind of check it out. That's what the arm mode looks like, and I'm glad I just figured that out on camera, that the hands peg in right there, because one of my biggest complaints, the instructions obviously don't understand that this happens, but one of my complaints with him was that the arms don't tab in anywhere, whereas on Skydive, once again comparing the two, the arms peg in right here on the wings, and it fills in this gap and it makes it very solid. So here they are, those arms, so you can kind of see the difference there. They look really good, and now I'm glad that these arms tab in right here and they fit. So that looks really good. So the arms do tab in, so that's a benefit right there. So this is the way the arm should be. You could probably, if you wanted to, bring these wings around like this. I don't know. You could if you wanted. However, if you like, they go out to the side like that as well. So it just depends. Personal preference. So that's the way they look as arms. So let's go ahead and take him to leg mode. What you want to do first is obviously pull off the hand. And then you want to take these arms. You want to untap these arms and bring them out. You're essentially just going back to jet mode. Leave those wings folded like that. Bring the legs around like this. Bring this down. You want to... No, you'll leave his head like that. And actually, you just go ahead and take this all the way up like that. Like, take that combiner port up. Bring your arms out to the side. Then you want to split this apart back here. Actually, you need to take your legs apart. Then you hinge this up. Hinge this up. Close. Make sure that's tabbed in. Get these wings out of the way. Tab all this together. Tab all that together. Okay, that's looking good. Bring the arms down. Make sure they're tabbed in. And then the instructions have you bring the wings forward like that. And I'm out of focus. And you take the hand, flip it out to where it's a foot, plug it on, and there you go. There you have him in his leg mode. Now personally, I like to take these wings and sweep them back this way. I think that looks a whole lot better as a leg. And here he is next to Skydive, who you can bring his wings up like that. Honestly, that looks better beside him that way. Honestly, I liked it better this way before I saw that looks a whole lot better that way. So there's some legs. So you can kind of tell how they look together, and they look pretty cool. So anyway, and then to go back to jet mode, it's really easy. Make sure these are out. Flip your wings up. Shoot. Bring your head up. Close all this back up. Sorry, it's difficult to see because these pegs are the way they are. Close all that up. Flip that tail fin down. And then take the cockpit, put it back. And there he is back in jet mode. And so, yeah, I like, not Slingshot, Firefly. I like Firefly. I think he's cool. I think he works well with his other, aerial bot brethren. Honestly, I think that, as I transform Skydive back, I think that if you were to use these toys as singular, figures, that they work. But they work better as a unit. I'm going to go ahead and just pan down. They work a whole lot better together, and I can only imagine how they'll work, when they're all together as Superion. And I'm really excited to put Superion together, so I've got, 2 down, 3 to go. But yeah, I definitely like Firefly, or Firefly as he is. Definitely recommend picking him up. Thanks for viewing this video, and goodbye.